first thing he told me was that not to believe what the town was saying about him, which at that point I hadn't put two and two together. I had no idea who he was.
This phone store employee came face to face with Patrick Frazee just days after the murder of Kelsey Barrett on Thanksgiving Day of 2018.
There's a million red flags going off. He was looking all over the room, was zeroing in, kind of like going where the cameras were. His tone of voice was kind of almost hushed, almost wavering as well, kind of, trembling. I mean, throughout the conversations we had, all of those emotions became more and more elevated.
He worked at a Verizon store and says Frazee asked him strange questions about Barrett's phone.
He asked if the other phone on his account, if it was destroyed, if anyone would be able to get information off of it. And it wasn't done in kind of a normal circumstance. We get people all the time that, I ran my phone over with the backhoe or whatever and would like to get my pictures off of it. It wasn't a typical question. He also kind of hesitated halfway through the question, almost when you're asking a question that you shouldn't ask, kind of paused and asked me if the other phone on the account was destroyed, would anyone be able to get information off of the phone?
With Barrett's baby in hand, this witness added Frazee also asked him if they could reset the security PIN code, but when Frazee was told they couldn't, he wasn't happy.
That's when he kind of just lost it and just became very nervous, very anxious, very apprehensive. Was speaking louder, not yelling or anything, but just was becoming very heightened in his emotional state as he was realizing that he was not going to be able to kind of lock down the account like he wanted to.
This witness also told me that Frazee had came into his store days before this visit asking another employee for a new cell phone because the one he had, the FBI took it. When one employee was getting the new phone for Frazee, another employee overheard Frazee saying some alarming words.
And apparently he was rocking back and forth and was loudly whispering to himself, "I didn't do it, I didn't do it, I didn't do it, I didn't do it," just like over and over and over and over again.
When this witness heard the news about Frazee asking another inmate in the Teller County Jail to kill witnesses before the trial, he took steps to protect his family and himself. This is why he also didn't want to show his face.
It's pretty unsettling to hear that he was trying to put hits out on the witnesses, but for the most part, I feel like I've taken as many steps as I can to kind of protect myself and my family. I'd much rather be overcautious than underprepared.
This man helped investigators zero in on Frazee and is relieved the jurors made the right call, finding Frazee guilty on all charges, sending him to spend the rest of his life behind bars.
At the end of the day, I knew what I was doing was the right thing to do, and I wanted to make sure that I brought justice as much as I could to Miss Barrett and her family.
He hopes that if others were in his position, they would do the same thing.
I've never been one to keep my mouth shut about anything. If I think something's wrong, if I see something that I believe is wrong, I'm definitely going to speak out about it. I mean, in these days, a lot of people feel like there's not much we can do to create any kind of social impact. Luckily, we live in a country, though, that you have free speech, and that's the one thing you can always do is speak out if you think something's wrong.
For Fox 21 News Digital Now, I'm Lauren Scharf reporting.